Morning, everybody. I hope you're enjoying your week, and I hope you're enjoying week 1 of the Becoming program. My name is Carrie Lee Wieland, and I'm here today to talk to you about week 2, which is the power of choice. So, did you know that we make, on average, about 35,000 choices a day? That's an incredible amount of choice. And just as we are multidimensional beings, our choices are very multidimensional as well. Some choices we make automatically when we have to change lanes when we're driving, when we need to fuel up our car, when we need to go groceries and eat, these kinds of things. We just make the choice to change lanes, go to the gas station, fill up. Even at that, you have to choose the gas that you're putting in there, choose how you're going to pay. So you can see how 35,000 choices at the end of the day would seem pretty reasonable when we consider the multidimensionality of our choices. So what's one thing that holds us back from making choice when we feel stuck and stumped and not knowing which direction to go? And that's fear. So fear is the biggest barrier to making choice. And fear often plays its role in many areas of our life. But in terms of making choice, we fear what we don't know. So if we want to make a choice, but we don't know what the outcome is going to be, we tend to avoid. Hang on. Okay. We tend to avoid making choice because we are no longer in control of what's going to happen. And so what can we do to overcome that fear and sort of release our need to control? And one thing that I've learned, especially over this past week, is really coming down to getting clear with what it is that we want. But even deeper than that, knowing what the purpose is of that choice. So I'm going to give you an example, a real life example. So my laptop started acting up on me last week. I took it in to get repaired before something major happened. And during this repair, my motherboard fried. So now I am laptop-less for about 2 weeks. And my computer is my work, especially in wanting to provide you guys with the videos and the content and these kinds of things. And so I was left with a choice. Do I put the money into that laptop, or do I go out and buy a new one? So when we looked at, in terms of budget, so I was looking at all different avenues, right? Which is similar to what we do when we make choices. We make a pros cons list. We sort of check out our different options, these kinds of things. So at the end of the day, I was left with, all right, I wait 2 weeks and it's only going to cost me a couple $100, or I go out and spend $1,400 on a new laptop now. I don't have an extra, well, I don't want to say I don't. I would prefer to put my dollars elsewhere if I can utilize my laptop for a couple $100. But this poses a 2-week delay in receiving my laptop. So then I was kind of panicking. All right, what am I going to do now? Because I need to push out week 2 and week 3 of the Becoming program to all my peeps. And I try to figure out how to do this stuff on my phone, and it doesn't work. I need a laptop. I need a computer. So this morning, I was like, the thoughts came through again. Well, how am I going to deal with this? What am I going to do? And I realized that fear was holding me back from making this choice. So yesterday I had gone through this thing where I was like, okay, adversity. That's my word. Adversity means realizing that and understanding that challenges are the best way to learn. And true that. I mean, I was like, all right, so I'm understanding that A, I need to keep all my materials on the cloud. B, I need to have a backup in case something like this happens again, like a plan B, especially because Vibe Tribe's coming up. And I was also like, all right, so the universe is sort of prepping me for all of these challenges that may arise as I'm in Vibe Tribe. So I'm like pre-prepping. So, I was grateful for that. Thanks, for bringing this stuff to my attention so I could best prepare. But I was still stuck with, how am I going to deliver? How am I going to create what I want to create and provide that to the group? So in my mind, I had, thought back and forth, well, I could just shoot a video off my phone right there. There was fear involved with that piece because I was afraid of the outcome. That means that I'm not giving the slide show per se, the webinar style where it was easy to follow along. I'm not able to provide the printouts. So my fear is, what is the outcome of that going to be? What are people going to think? Are they going to think I'm disorganized? Are they going to, all of these things were coming up for me in terms of being judged, in terms of how this is going to look, so on and so forth. This morning, however, I was sitting with it again, and I realized that when we are given, like when we're sitting at this crossroads and we need to make a choice, if we come to the root, to the purpose of what it is we're wanting out of the choice, basically, our answer arrives. So for me, when I was rooting down and figuring out what is the purpose of this, like what, so here I am, I can wait 2 weeks, I can send out a quick, sorry, it's going to be 2 weeks late, or I could shoot this video without any of that fancy stuff. Although I really love the fancy stuff. But anyways, I thought, okay, so what is the root of it that I'm wanting to give? What do I want to serve out of all of this? And that's the message. So at the end of the day, no matter how I provide you with the information, the core of it is I'm wanting to give you this message, what I'm delivering to you right now. However I deliver that, really at the end of the day, at the root of it, it doesn't matter. So when it comes to making choices, we need to go deeper within and understand what it is what is the purpose of this choice? What is the purpose of what we're doing, right? And this is why I have chosen to provide you with week 2, the power of choice, in this way, in this format. And Wayne Dyer says that, I wrote it down because it's such a good little quote. He says, our lives are the sum of the total choices we have made. I'm going to add to that, because in every single moment, we have the freedom to choose something different. I could have let this stall me and put me behind even further in delivering my Becoming program. But what good is that doing? Is that really the reason why, I was given these challenges, was to stop me from moving forward? I kind of think it was a bit of a test. I kind of think it was a bit of let's see how committed you are. Let's see how deep, how much more deep you can go in understanding the power of choice. And so in this moment, I'm choosing to continue to move forward. I'm utilizing what I have in front of me. We kind of talked about that last week too. We have everything we need. Use what we have in front of us to create what it is we want to create. It may not be exactly what we have in our minds. It may not be, the fancy way of delivering. It may not be giving you all of those sheets, again, which I totally love, and you will receive them when I get an opportunity. But release my need to control. Release your need to control what that's going to look like. Get to the root of what it is that you're wanting to create and make the choice that propels you forward. This choice to shoot this video propels me forward. I have a good friend who is struggling at work. And, and I've been there. You get to the point where, what are my options here? I no longer enjoy this environment. Do I quit? Do I choose something different? And that's a difficult thing, right? When we're working, in particular, because we have responsibility. We have to create income. We have to provide. And we can't just quit our jobs and that's it. We have to kind of transition into a space where we can continue to provide. So I think where the hookup happens in a situation like that is we then continually go into this environment of work that is unpleasant and often can be unhealthy, with anger and frustration, and resentment is a big one too. And we bring that into our work environment. And those are little choices we could make also. We can choose to not be resentful. We can choose to not be angry. And in my own experience, when I had to when I was in transition between working in a space that was toxic and coming into a space of serving, what I'm doing now, I reminded myself every single morning that there was a purpose for me being there. And whether I liked it or not, I had to release my need to control what that purpose was. I had to trust that the universe was doing things in the background for me to prep me and provide new opportunities for me to do what it was that I really wanted to do. So in other words, for my friend who's struggling in the work environment, if we can trust that we go into work and we're serving, whether that be serving the asshole supervisor, that's not it's not your problem. It's not your issue to take up a problem with. Do you know? Like, don't hold resentment about it. Instead, bring compassion into your heart. And even though the guy's an asshole, I'm here to serve him. There's something that he needs that I'm providing to him, that I'm serving without resentment, from a space of compassion, without even understanding what that is, but I'm going to give. I'm going to give and give and give, and trust that the things that I'm wanting to experience, the universe is preparing for me over here. So every morning I would wake up and I would ask, how can I serve? How can I best serve while serving myself? And that was maintaining that space of neutrality. I was choosing to be grateful in the situation I was in. I was choosing to trust in the universe, that whatever the universe was doing to conspire and work with me so that I could live the life and experience the things that I wanted to experience was happening. And lo and behold, within 4 weeks of doing that practice, things lined up for me, and I was able to transition over without the need to control. It just unfolded. It just arrived for me. And although hard work, yes, but effortless. So choice has a lot to do with A, releasing the need to control what the outcome is going to be. And B, watch your emotions. When we start to make choice from emotions, it's a little foggy, right? we tend to react instead of respond. We get out of the flow of things because we're making choice from emotion. And underneath all of that emotion is where we're going to sit in that space of neutrality and be able to see clearly what it is we need to do. And again, we talk about divine timing and divine order and all of the idea of that divine organizing intelligence preparing things for us. But if we are not sitting in that space of gratitude during our transition of trying to understand what choices to make, we are only resisting what is ready to come to us, what we are actually wanting. So we're playing a tug of war with the universe and what we're trying to communicate and what... Hey guys, sorry, I had to cut that piece out. My husband came, surprised me at the window of the car this morning and scared the absolute crap out of me. So I've waited till the end of the day to shoot the last part. Just to summarize, and complete up week 2 of The Power of Choice. So as we were saying, sitting in that space of gratitude and trust that the universe is going to bring to us what it is that we're really wanting to create while we work through the transition of choosing something different is extremely powerful in terms of living the life that you want to live. Now, I just want to finish up by talking about the empowerment that we live when we choose, when we make the decision to choose something different. And this comes into play in particular when we find ourselves in repeating patterns, when we're sitting in a comfort zone, when we think that this is the end of it, there must be nothing more for me, even though we're sitting in a space of toxicity oftentimes when it gets really rough. I was in a extremely abusive relationship when I was young, about 17, and the guy he'd beat the absolute crap out of me. He'd hold guns to my head, threaten to kill me. And that's an extreme position to be in terms of choosing something different. Not always are our choices black and white. You know what I mean? There's a lot of layers involved oftentimes when we are sitting in something very toxic. And that's not to say that even in a not so toxic situation that choices can be complex, because they can. My point is that although it may seem difficult to see that we have choice in certain situations, we always, always, always do. Always. And eventually I made the choice to leave. Now, of course, there's cause and effect, right? The law of cause and effect. And that's part of the slides that you're going to get, part of the printouts you're going to get to add to your Becoming Source book. I'm not going to get into it too much here. I wanted to keep this a little bit short since it was kind of on the fly and candid. But I guess I just really want you to know that, I understand, and I a lot of what I'm speaking and what I'm sharing is based on my own personal experiences. And so, it's really important that you take what resonates, leave behind what doesn't, and know that I get it. Not always is it just determination of, well, you know what, here it is, I need to make this choice, I'm going to change, easy peasy. It's not like that all the time, and I get it. But the point is, remembering that you hold the power to co-create whatever it is that you want to experience in your life. That is truth. As difficult as change may be, as difficult as the choice may be, you must make those choices to move forward so that we don't end up in stagnancy. Stagnancy is death. That's not why we're here. The power of choice, the power of free will is a gift we've been given. And I just really want to focus on that so that we know we can become empowered through our choices, not by being powerful over somebody or through greed or through control, but it's just through living a life with a little more freedom, and a little more excitement in terms of what are we going to create today? Sometimes we need to surrender. I don't know, but hey, universe, let's play. Here's a choice I want to make. Now it's your turn. So have fun with this. Have fun with creating change and making choices, because that's what it's about. It's about learning and growing and connecting and exploring and playing. So that's about it for week 2. I want to thank you so much for your patience in some of the ups and downs that I'm going through. Just as much as I'm learning and growing on this journey, you're doing it with me, and I couldn't be more grateful to have you all with me here. So I will talk to you on in week 3, which may be shot this same way, where we talk about present moment awareness and some practices that we can do to stay in the present moment. If we're not in present moment, we're typically living in the past or living in the future. And neither of those are actual reality any longer, or that kind of thing. I won't get into too much there. So again, thanks again, guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll chat at you soon. Take care. Love y'all. Bye.